almost missed it. All right. So summary session Friday, guys. Let's see what we had. As I said, first of all, Aussies. All the Aussies started pushing down, and pretty much in all of them, we faced an impulsive structure, which meant for us two things. Once this down move starts, because whatever is going to happen next, we're expecting to see this down move. And yesterday and the days before that, we were discussing that we have two possible options. Either after this structure, we continue down immediately, or we create pullback structure and then continue higher for a larger ABC. And this is the fine moment where we need to figure out what is going on right here. Is it an impulse and probably continuation lower, or is it a pullback and probably continuation higher? To do that, we have a few tools to use, and of course, one of them would be divergences and convergences. Now, as it comes to OZN, I would like to first of all discuss a possible setup here. So we started following all these divergences on the higher time frames, right? And then we got into the first zone, which was the two lines or the mark level, and we had one zone above it, which was kind of tested but never really reached it. So on the lower time frames, because on the higher time frames, I really don't find a way here to enter maybe first wave pullback and then kind of step trading here, or some kind of aggressive trend line on the final leg, right? But for me, it is quite simpler. I simply go to the lower time frames. I'm looking for these divergences. First one, second one, level reached, level falls broken, and then we have the break and close. Previous bar only managed to spike, then the next bar managed to close below. And this is something that I like to see, then immediate pullback, giving us an opportunity to look for the better prices here if we want to be selling. Provided, so whether you're attacking here or with the 50-60%, some other setup, whatever it is, we got it and then push lower. Now, at least the way I see it, now it looks like we are heading for, this is 15-minute chart, right? We're heading for some kind of impulse. There are no divergences against, we're creating lower lows, etc., etc. So I think this scenario is more likely to happen. And in my opinion, we have room still to the downside for this thing to continue lower. Keep in mind, this is still the previous swing low from the higher time frames, the actual low. So how this wave currently will develop, it will tell us a lot. But in general, I think this is where we're headed, meaning that the idea of ABC and possible push up is decreasing and decreasing and decreasing by the minute. So if you're already involved, good. If not, follow up on this one and then sells. But basically, OZN looks like bearish continuation, strong bearish science for me. Next, we have Aussie Cat, and Aussie Cat is pretty much the same situation. Here we also have the two scenarios, the red one and the blue one. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. This is a double wave. This double wave, however, if we compare it to this low, because this is actually the lowest point from this zone right here, see what's happening. We already have divergence on the histogram. Okay, RSI pushing lower, MA is pushing lower. Overall looks good. I believe the blue scenario is more likely to happen. This is why I'm going to remove the red one now. But still, we need to see to break below in order to confirm a possible triple structure here. I'm personally not involved here. I don't like the way it ended. I was actually expecting it to push higher and I wanted to sell from the higher levels. So for me, this would be a better opportunity there. Next, we have Aussie Kiwi, which I'm glad we discussed, and we talked about trailing the stops. For myself, that was right here, the previous swing low on the 1 hour chart, which was kicked out. What do I do next? I do nothing. Okay, I'm simply letting it develop, whatever it wants to create next. I'm following, but as for now, I don't have any expectation of where the price is going. Well, I do have a few things in mind, but let's discuss them later on as it starts to develop something better. All right, Aussie dollar is the next one on the list, and here again we had the impulse level again picked perfectly, the divergences, the convergences. Let's drop to the lower time frames. Okay, you can see what's happening here, and then inside the level, perfect, right? We're testing that zone. We create the breakout, pullbacks. We have the retests, continuation lower. So now let's see what's next. Are we going to get this, or we're going to get some kind of continuation here? And again, I believe as long as this high is holding, that we have better chances of continuing lower. There is no divergence in the MAs or the RSI. There is histogram divergence supporting one more push lower. And if that happens, then we have the structure that we're looking for. So overall, Aussie dollar starts to look bearish. Now, when it comes to the entries, guys, why not sell here? As we mentioned yesterday, we don't know once we get to this point and we expect move down, whether this move down is this or it will continue lower. And that's why I explained we need to be selling on wave BC, okay, here at point B. Why? Because then you have double wave, and if you sold here, right, by the time the price reaches the bottom, you will be already in pretty decent profits. Even if it's not one-to-one, let's say you're attacking, just for example, 23 or 38% people, then you will not be in profit immediately. I mean, target one will not be reached immediately once you reach here, but you will be able to drop the stop loss lower. You will be able to trail it. You will be able to do many things, right? So now you have extended wave in the middle, but technically speaking, you don't have fifth leg here. So selling at that point would be more aggressive. Keep in mind, we're already dropping to the 15-minute chart. Okay. So ideally, you want to be selling here after the convergence, as we have in this case. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then you get your money approximately somewhere around this zone. And then you start to follow for add-ons. If that happens, wait for pullbacks, sell again. Why? Because the higher time frames are supporting us and we want to see the price going and creating one more low. That's it. Any questions so far? This is probably simple in my head. I'm not sure if you guys get it, but I need everyone to understand the point here. If any questions, please drop them in the chat, okay? So we don't waste time. All right. Euro we kind of removed from the list. Euro Kiwi was one idea which we followed yesterday and suggested that failed. It was basically about the false breaks here, okay, the multiple false breaks. And it doesn't matter how we look at it, we didn't even touch the top trend line. I was expecting to see at least something like that, right? And that's why this is aggressive. The idea is to not lose too much money if it happens, and basically felt. So nothing more to be added. Hard time frames not entirely clear to me still. I'll just clean it up a bit. Again, that could be a double wave with breakout and continuation. That could be a range. Let's say 60, 40 or I don't know, 65, something like that for the bullish side. But we still have, in my opinion, again, room down. Next, euro dollar. We were discussing the engulfing. I think it was this one right here, right? Around 11 o'clock. Yeah, it must be this one. And basically what we said is we have double top or a false break coming with divergence, possible aggressive attacks already here based on this kind of structure, the levels and the expectation for this thing to continue lower as long as that zone is holding. We also mentioned, and this is super important as well, to cover this level right here, okay, the mark zone. And you can see what's happening. We got the move, we feed the big guys if you're protecting aggressively, and then the price drops. And this is stupid, okay? That's why we want to be protecting slightly higher, because the level, the optimal level is not tested. If it's not tested, you're exposed to this kind of stop loss hunts. And this is nothing more than a stop loss hunt, okay? I personally got out, kicked out in break even, and the reason I hesitated to keep it is this one. Okay, after the false breaks here, we started developing double wave down, no divergences, all right? So maybe I forced it a bit, I'm not sure, but then we got the price going above this trend line and breaking this trend line. Okay, so I decided to kill it without any losses here. And the reason is simple. It's Friday, it's NFP, it's been a pretty good week, so why risk it? Right? I don't want to be taking any chances since the rest of the things worked out pretty good. Euro Kiwi was already realized loss, so better leave it as it is and move on. Now, I'm not saying this is not going to continue lower. I just preferred for myself to kill this exposure. All right, let me just remove those because this is the actual plan. The pounds, well, after the yesterday's roller coaster, I'm not touching it, at least for some time now. Technically speaking, we got what we were looking for. We got the ABC. I guess we can say this is some sort of divergence on the histogram. Most of our level was reached, 100% holding, trend line holding, and now it's attempting to break higher. As I said, I will not look for these buys, at least not the way I'm doing it for the rest of the pairs, meaning that if I'm going to be buying, first of all, this zone is pretty decent and it's pretty close. I'm not going to waste that many pips if I attack breakout here, right? Rather than this kind of breakout. So what I would like to see is this kind of situation. Okay, break above the high, pullbacks, retesting, holding these levels. And then if we break above, we can be even protecting aggressively here, no problem. Okay, but this kind of trend line, I'm not falling for it. Again, we have news. Okay, so we can easily be skipping that. I'm just talking about the technical part of this situation. Pound Kiwi, pretty much same story. However, here we got convergence Okay, we have trend line breakout, we have break below the low. So it's kind of contradicting with the previous move here, but let's see if it can go ahead and break. The next part here is that we have this spike. So for me, the zone is that one right here. But you have a spike. How many pips is that? Like 50, 60 pips above. Okay, right here. So pound franc at that stage looks a bit better in my opinion in terms of setups. So pound QE nothing to be done yet, I guess, because it's not even trying to break the trend line. QEN. QEN, I still support my view for the bullish one, the bullish expectations, simply because of the higher time frames and the rest of the things that we mentioned yesterday. So if you're interested in deeper analysis here, and more detailed analysis, please watch yesterday's recording on QEN, guys. But the pullback started, okay? The pullback started, so basically as long as this low is holding, I'm looking technically for buys, and that would be the invalidation zone. However, I don't want to see the price dropping below this zone. Okay, so ideally this one will be holding. Keep in mind this is your false broken trend line from the daily chart. So let's see. But it's important that the move started. So I'm looking for this kind of setups here. Next on the list is QE dollar, which created pretty much the same structure as QEN. 3 to the upside, we're expecting to see pullbacks and then continuations. Trend line is still holding, and here the situation is a bit different because of that, as we mentioned it yesterday. So even if we get second wave up, I would still be looking in the longer term for possible sells. Short term, however, the market is suggesting we might be having deeper correction here. Okay, and this is perfectly fine, no worries, no issues. We're going to be following it and probably trading it. So in the short term, let's see what it will provide. So far, nothing. I mean, since yesterday, it's just stuck here in this 40 pip range, so we can't really say much about it. Dollar cut with the most recent push lower, multiple false breaks. So basically, false break number 1, false break number 2, one leg divergence, and RSI screaming divergence as well. It started pushing higher. Let's not forget about this starts from here, and it could be actually extended. This entire block, right? But the stronger zone is in the middle of it. So something like this. And look where we're at the moment. Exactly in the middle of this previous zone. So we're definitely inside an action zone. Hidden divergence is in place. This is the 1 hour chart, 4 hour chart, trend line on the way. So in the short term, I would be looking for this kind of continuation down and probably reach the 61, which is 30 to 40, let's say. At that stage, if and when we reach it, I will be looking either for bounces or breakouts. I do bet on the bounces for one reason. First of all, we are in a bearish trend, sorry, in a bullish trend, right? And this suggested that we might be continuing higher. Of course, this is only 100% on the second wave. There is no extension created, and based on the higher time frames, the idea is probably like this. Now, this could be continuing immediately. We have no clue. But this is why we're focusing on the lower time frames where we have a clue. What else I wanted to mention is that the double top, which was broken and currently retesting it, is also projected, the duplication of this thing is projected at the same level. And yesterday, if you remember, we marked this zone here as well. The line basically, right? You can see it. So too many things, the 61.8, this one, the price action, everything is pointing to that zone. We're very likely going to reach it. What's going to happen from here? No need to guess. We're going to follow up and see and try to find the next opportunity that we'll be following afterwards. All right, next, dollar franc. Now, this one, guys, for some reason, I'm starting to believe that it's kind of providing here consolidation. Even though it reaches 61.8, I somehow see it going lower, a bit lower, creating new low. I don't know why. It just looks like it. Of course, I could be wrong, but at that stage, I don't find anything attractive in terms of entries. If you look at trend lines and you assume that this is your first wave, this is your second wave, then it's not really symmetrical. The divergences are a bit messed up as well. I mean, overall, dollar franc became not what I was expecting it to become. So that's why if we push a bit lower, it could become interesting. Alternatively, instead of looking for the breakouts, we can do the more conservative approach, which is this. Okay, just to make sure we're on the right track. Of course, we give away the first wave, but then we're attacking the second one. Next, I would like to cover what do we have? KiwiCat and KDN, which were not on the report. Just a quick follow-up, because we've been talking about this previous week and this week, I think, in one of the live rooms. Again, I believe we might be headed here for this range on the daily chart. Of course, we only have 1 point at the bottom and 2 points at the top. So we need to see this in order to confirm. That's why this is dashed line. But on the lower time frames, we started developing something interesting, which I believe has the potential to push one more time higher. And now we have pretty similar situation as with the dollar cut. The question is whether this is a double top, and it will be answered if we break below the low, or is this consolidation before another wave up that could be giving us the sells. And to be honest, I would like to see the break to the upside and then sell, because then we're reaching the daily trend line, then we're reaching these levels right here. Okay, let's drop the lines and see where. One moment, guys. So this is the top. This is the bottoms. Of course, we have one more right here, but we don't need that many lines. This is the top, right? So if we manage to get to this level, very close to that zone, I think sales from here could be absolutely fantastic. On the other hand, this structure is already in place, so the move down could be starting sooner than expected. This is the larger trend line. That could be slightly different on your broker, because I believe that was weekend gap or something. If you want to be more aggressive, you can follow up for the most recent trend lines. And in this case, that would be the one. Okay. And then again, it's not really ideal. That's why I prefer to work with the low. This kind of trend line is not cool. So let's see. I mean, this is pretty much my my view here, and I would love to see this kind of setup. Okay, something like that. KDN, which pushed, and we were talking about this setup. I'm not sure when. We wanted to see this level reached, and it was reached right here on the first, so that was yesterday. And then it started consolidating, and we reached the potential trend line from the top, right? And why potential? Because at that stage we only had one touch point here, and that was like a projection from the bottom. Now we discussed the 15-minute chart, and here we start getting all these divergences. We managed to get one breakout right here. And now the question for you guys is, do you like this kind of breakout? Would you attack it? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but the question is why? I want you to go here with me and give me your opinions. Any ideas? Hello, hello. Come on, guys. Don't be ashamed. All right. Other opinions, please. Anthony, are you referring to this one? The one before it? Okay. Anyone else? Cool. So I agree with both of you guys. And let's go a reversed order. Anthony's answer first. Why this low? Well, if you remember, we were talking about this zone when we started following it. Okay? And that low right here, you can see it fits perfectly because this is where we got the breakout, and that's the low that brings us back inside this zone. That's one. And the second one, actually, you both covered what I wanted to say. Well done. The second one is that this never closed below. And what did we say about breakouts? We want to see the price closing and pushing with these candles further as possible. Of course, this is 15-minute chart. We cannot expect it to do this, right? But very, very logical. Well done, guys. I'm thinking absolutely the same as you. Because here, this technically, well, we can argue a bit about that, but we can also argue about this and that then, right? Let's say this is acceptable. And you can see the pressure is building. The question is how to avoid this stop loss hunting when it comes. I'm not saying we cannot attack second time, of course we can. But if we can read these very little things, simple things, yet important, we can be saving one entry here, okay? Drop by drop, we have an ocean. So look what happened with this candle. Look where it closed. Look the size of it compared to the previous candles. Okay, so let me zoom in a bit. This is really important, simple but important. This candle is kind of big, but we have a wick. That means this level is being rejected. Okay, next candle, again attempting to go lower, rejected. These candles don't really do much for us. I mean, here you can be attacking, but based on what? I think this is a bit of gamble here. You're still inside this range and you're kind of trading it in the middle. That could be easily breakout, continuation up. No need to attack here. This candle, however, perfect. And then we have plenty of zones that we can be protecting, because this is where the range started and that's the false break of the range. Technically speaking, protection above this is more than enough, in my opinion. Sell stop, I would say no. No. In such situations, I would like, I mean, if you're using sell stop, imagine you got it here. Okay, you will be triggered. You have no idea how the candle will close. I think if you're not able to trade it live and see how it develops, better skip it. We cannot catch them all. Okay, switch to the higher time frames, find your setups there where you can follow them live. But this kind of situation, I would trade live only. So kind of important lesson, in my opinion, about this. And then you can see what's happening. I mean, if you're patient enough, you will be in the money almost immediately, rather than fighting all these things and wondering, is it going up, is it going down, should I attack again, should I not? Just patience, right? And then attacks. I don't think we covered anything else besides the stuff in the report in terms of currencies. Now, I want to also talk about these three. Okay, so let's start. Gold, first of all. The 4-hour chart, trend line, the levels, right? This entire thing is a level here. No need to drop lines, okay? But this entire thing is a level. Going lower, at least according to my view, this is what we're following. And I'm actually happy because this didn't break lower, okay? It is much better if we see it continuing higher. Now, the question is whether we're going to get divergence, first of all, here, and then second of all, here. At that point, we have it, right? But if we're going to be continuing higher, is it going to be there? Most likely, yes. If this is under divergence, then this will be under divergence. Then we have the 61.8, a level rejected. This low now becomes important. I don't see any interesting trend lines. And honestly, if we can do this for one more false break here, 1, 2, 3, and again divergence and divergence and divergence, and getting as closer as possible to here, sales would be very, very, very sweet. So gold, I believe, is developing according to our plan. It will take time. Let's see what NFT will do to it. But overall, looks good. Breakout above means cancel. Okay. Oil was also something else we discussed, and that was kind of a classical idea. We got stuck inside this structure. We reached the top. So we have the trend line. We had also this zone, and right there, the optimal level is reached. This is our divergence. The low here was not ideal, okay, but still, this, as we said, is the middle point of this one and that one. The breakout, the way it happened here, is not what I was looking for, to be honest, for the exact same reason that we just discussed now. You can see what's happened. Then you have this. And now things become much, much simpler to understand. So break, pull back, retest, break below. That's one. A bit more aggressive because it's just one simple candle. Price is pushing lower. Now it's giving us a real break, a retest, and then you're attacking here. Okay, I know some people might be attacking here, but then you should be protecting there. I think overall this worked pretty well. Now we have the divergence against. So keep that in mind. Looks like we're going to continue lower based on the price action and based on the higher time frames. We should be reaching probably the low, and we have this zone, which we have reached right now, plus this divergence. So this is likely to be delivered. That's about crude. And then the dollar index, which started developing interestingly because we now have the breakout. Basically what we have is on the higher time frames, 3 waves, okay, to the downside. We also have the one leg divergence here with 2 false breaks. We then broke this zone, okay, only 100% pullback. And now the question is whether it will hold or not. I can easily see the price going lower, creating false break in the trend line, creating false break here, creating divergence on the MAs and RSI. That would be even better, no problem. Then we can attack aggressively even. If you're waiting for something more conservative, then now focusing on this part, now we're trying to break, pull back. Okay, let's see if the low holds or not. And if we continue higher, that could be an attempt here to be attacked. Again, the better idea, in my opinion, would be to see this. Okay, then on the way down, hopefully we're going to create some kind of highs to work with. So once the divergence is completed, we can start attacks from lower and not from this higher level. And then, bam, if it breaks, neutral. Aussie and Nasdaq in Germany. Well, for these two, I think talking about Nasdaq at the moment, 1, 2, 3 to the upside, we're likely going to continue higher. I don't know, but on the lower time frames, since we're expecting to see pullbacks here, right? We expect to see this. On the lower time frames, there might be something interesting happening for those who would like to sell. If we get 5-leg structure, we can be looking for short-term sells here as well. Okay. Germany still, I'm not Germany, sorry, DAX still trading inside the channel. We bounced from the bottom this morning, extremes, etc., etc. This is 1-leg divergence. Now we're probably going to push higher, but for this thing, I personally don't have anything to mention as an idea. Bitcoin started dropping lower and lower and lower. Now, go figure what's that. Is it a range? I have no clue, guys. Something is cooking there, but what is it? Time will tell. Any other ideas from your side? Anything to discuss? Questions? Can you please contact me in private in Telegram so we can discuss it? Thank you. All right, guys. I guess nothing, no questions. So thank you, Anthony. I'm wishing you a fantastic weekend. Let's recover for next week and see what's going to happen with the pounds. That's it, I guess. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you.